Hey friends, thank you for tuning in. My name is Maddie Lynn, and this is the IC channel. It's a platform, a space I've created to be able to spend time looking at what is perspective, looking at how to broaden said notion and what horizons do we be broadening upon, the horizons of our complete and limitless potential. That would be the subconscious, metaphorically resembled by and symbolized by the sea, the ocean, the water. And we are going to soar upon the oceans of cosmic sorts. Anyways, we're talking about this new year, what's to come. I have astrological conversations to touch on the ideas of the astronomical transits, and astrologically there's story there. And so in this lovely little what do they call these videos, segments, in today's segment episode, we're gonna dive into a read I did, and I actually did some writing on this, and it's published on my Substack, just an initial writing. There's a lot to this read, and I would love to share it with voice because the meaning can get so monochronized in the writing sense, and there can be some pieces that are missed because of that. So just to drop into this read, I want to dive into conversation. Let's talk about which book it is. So I pulled 5 cards from this said book. Kim Kranz, she is a wonderful mystic. I'm just like over the moon with how this person has collected themselves and their world and placed it upon a deck of circular cards. I'll flash them at you because I've left them on the top. And this read has been extremely transformative, really solidifying perspectives and showing us where we're at. And the big buzzword be purpose. So going forward and further into my vision of what this podcast YouTube channel shall be, I want to be able to offer conversation through my modalities, through my lenses, as well as begin to invite conversation between individuals who I share interest with and knowing and curiosity and discovery with, as we investigate what is this reality. As we traverse time-space itself, we are going to, get to the bottom of it. What's the bottom? What's the point? Is that there's a bottom and there's a top and there's an inner and there's an outer, and the box in which all this exists in is for us to unpack, so to speak. So speaking of box, we got a 5 card spread coming at you. I'm not gonna try and take up all your time. I'm trying and be really quick, be quick about it. The first card at the bottom of our 5 card spread is the underworld. And I love that already. Not many card reads do this. They offer such depth. We got a dirty chai happening over here. Homemade chai with espresso. Okay, so the first card, it's the gem card. Okay, so cute, right? We started there, the underworld, bringing us down. Like I said, we're getting to the bottom of it. What is the bottom? What are we diving into our reality and seeking? What is this radiance, this brilliance, this jewel, the gift, the gold? It's also defined as talent. This energy, to find it requires a descent beneath the surface. So Kim Kranz does articulate. And so the notion of such reveals how we have this adventurous journey before us, and there be uncharted territory. Maybe somebody's been there, but our direct experience is required to be able to infer and understand and relay then thus what it means, this environment. What does it mean? Why would there be treasure there? What is its surroundings? And so really understanding from the get-go, number one, that the truest treasures, we can seek them endlessly over lifetimes. We do this, and at all costs, we're still looking for this thing that lies within us, at our center, at the deepest parts of our being is our truest value. So through this notion, we can see how the discovery is ever elusive, and the journey itself leads to enlightenment. The journey itself, the path, is where those treasures lie. So throughout this spread, we have threads of the container. I spoke to the box. The experience to be able to find all of the treasures that we're destined to be blessed with, it requires our participation and the harnessing of our vessel. And the intricacies, the nuances to that are what actually are the ever eternal moment greeting us and meeting us to bring us those joys beyond our wildest dreams. We may get caught up in and be conditioned to believe that the treasure is, at the end of a lottery ticket announcement, right? Like, that's the treasure. We want $1 million. We're going to buy a house. That's the gold. But how about like the walk to the corner store? How about those little moments when you catch a stranger's eyes, or you make someone's day with a compliment, or vice versa? What about when that sunshine comes through the trees and just makes your entire reality shimmer? Like, those moments our body is here for and attunes to and responds to. And unless we look beneath the surface, through those perceived barriers, we may miss it, right? So the experience defined by the line of life and death, defined by what is activating us and what is deteriorating our souls, can we really take home the gold? So say. So with the underworld being defined to us immediately, that the treasure lies, maybe it's open to interpretation or something, but I would be bold, and I'm going to be bold enough to say that it does lie within, and requires a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of wonder, just a smidgen for us to move in that direction, be propelled by this beautiful wonder, this mystery. I love nautical themes, as you may understand from this already. So the second card is past, and the past was beautifully symbolized by the warrior card. And in this, the biggest message, again, I'm gonna use the word purpose to buzz it. The biggest message was the past carrying this frequency of our ancestors' mission of purpose, and how we're still fighting that good fight. Our literal DNA is here because we've been guided by truth, guided by the sword, called to presence and alignment, and thus purpose as fuel. The notion of life and death again comes back. What are we standing for? What is our spirit called to defend and liberate? So, in the past, we have endless story of how we've been burned at the stake. We've been whatever else wronged in all the ways. I could talk about it, and I'll brush over it with a nice coloration to say that there's been a battle of some kind to be able to keep our true gifts, to be able to move forward in further evolution and actualization. There are what they call powers that be that maybe don't want us to have access to that channel. And knowing that we are here today because of those warriors, and carrying that message further, here we are saying we haven't given up, no way, no how, fueled by that purpose. That word is really burning through this read, and I definitely have lots of conversation to offer in how that is one of our essentials, understanding what our purpose is day to day and in the grand notion of how we show up in our lifetime, and is everything we're doing in alignment to said notion of why we're here. So yeah, something that Kim Kranz said is, as you draw your sword, realign with eternal wisdom within and surrender. Need I say more? Yeah, one little notion here within the past and the idea of the battle is to identify where is the battle happening. Often it's not evident, you can't really see it. Then you can start to see it, between the lines, within, again, to bring it back to the notion of the underworld. Where is that treasure? The physical 3D world definitely exists, yet the battle is happening in a different place. And to begin to draw lines and to bring awareness to that, practices can do that. This read is hopefully going to bring you to perceive, the message of spirit calling you to look somewhere else. All right, carrying on. The next card at the top of our 5-card spread is Village. I'm going to see if I can hold them all up. We got 1, and then we got 2, and then we got 3. It's harder than it looks. So the Village card came up at the position of Heaven. And there's a wonderful amount of juxtaposition in this card. So what is your idea of heaven? The question is asked. What do you think of when you think of Eden and home? Which is a really big theme right now in the astrological world. We got Cancer moon right now. The moon's full in Cancer. And we also have Jupiter in Cancer. So all this amplification. Jupiter is a bright light to shine upon the home life. And so here, this card calls us to go, where is it? If you were to lift it up to the heavens and say, I am looking for this, did that mean you had to leave a previous home? Did that mean home was something that propelled you forward and reminded you that the journey itself can make you feel more home than any 4 walls may ever? I'm wondering if... So, point being, with this card here, there's wonderful message of the familiar, cozy, welcoming, all these wonderful fuzzy feelings. And then inside of that, there's doubt and fear and restriction. What's out there for you? You think you're gonna make it? I don't know, it's pretty fucked out there. I don't think leaving makes any sense, says the doubters, says the fear-mongerers. But your tribe, your real soul fam, maybe they're out there, wherever there is. Maybe they're, waiting for you to hit the road. Maybe they're also upon that road, the ones who you align with most. So are you willing to open up to the world that awaits? Do you have a thirst for life? Are you open to learning? Do you realize that there are other places to call home besides the one you've grown up in? So again, purpose comes through in this card as well. Can you root into yourself? Are there places within your own self that you feel welcomed by? Do you feel like you're your own best friend? All those themes of self and self-love. freedom, true freedom, is the journey itself, and being uninhibited by fear and all the doubts and worries and all the concerns, and moving forward anyways. Think Sagittarius and this energy. So knowing that no matter where we are, the background always changes, our spirit is home within our bones. That message, there's a Latin phrase, omnia mea mecum porto. It speaks to this idea beautifully by saying, all that is mine, all that I have, I carry with me. And it's a real experience when you can tune into all of the movement that life may bring you through because of your purpose. You're not meant to stay in one place. You can only grow as big as your environment is. So if you're going to limit yourself to a certain context, you will also limit and stunt your growth. So where does your soul call you forward, right? And so in this card, there's a beautiful amount of death to be invited, of each moment to move forward. Oh, I kind of skipped a little bit. No, it all flows together. Yeah, right? So death being beautifully woven and strung through this reed, underworld gem. We want to eventually get to the next side. The treasure is knowing that this life is impermanent so that we can actually live it. What is life if we don't actually know that we're not here forever? And I love talking about that. So fourth card is exactly what I'm talking about. How do you say this? Thanatos. I'm gonna say Thanatos. So this card literally symbolizes, you guessed it, death. Isn't it beautiful? So we have the gem in our underworld, a warrior past self. Our heaven is our village, is our Eden. And 4 is the future, death. Inevitable, inescapable. I love that this card came up in its place that it did, because it immediately talks about what is the illusion of time, past, present, future. We die as we move forward anyways. We're shedding layers limitlessly, endlessly in each moment. That moment's now dead. That moment's now gone. Every blink, every breath, every exhale, an inhale cycle invites new waves of consciousness and letting parts of ourselves rest as we continue to evolve and move in what is this reality. So, knowing in this idea of future that there's this ongoing and omnipresent energy, and to surrender to its wings. Thanatos is a winged spirit. I believe. Let me read that one. So this card brings about a message to relinquish control in every form. It ain't easy, as we understand our struggles. We want to prepare and consider the possibilities, what ifs, we're ready for it. We want to be ready for it. So what happens when we let go of needing to be fully prepared and just move through as we can? And in that's what's preparing us. That's a practice. The surrender, the rest, the reset. To be in as much presence as potentially possible. We're really close. LXX. Nice. Thanks for your patience. So, Thanatos says, it is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as a transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the ending of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps us under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we've touched the cusp of the underworld and will return to the land of the living eventually, with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced the annihilation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. And it was so beautiful to read that because we literally started with the initiation to the underworld. So this writing is very whimsical. And what it's speaking to is kind of how I was speaking, is the notion that death is alive in this reality. Is not just waiting for us as we take our last breath. It lives with us as we surrender to new ways and give up past patterns. The other things of recognizing death in life, actually seeing and experiencing loss and grief even before it happens will change us forever, knowing that everything is semi-permanent and that itself can really free us, can help us look to what's important, can bring the perspective of what is our purpose. Do we think our purpose is limited to an office and we're just showing up and clocking in and taking home a paycheck so we can watch Netflix? Or is there like a life to be lived? Is there a bridge to jump off? Is there an ocean to venture in and swim? Are there creatures to go see in their natural habitat? Are there conversations to be had? Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, to carry that on, this card really speaks to the cycles, gifted purpose that we can really celebrate in each moment, how much life there is to live, and then that itself opens up into eternal presence in a way that you might miss if you're really preoccupied with a conditioned perspective of life being all the things that you could buy, for example. So deep reverence and surrender is, necessary. Death in each moment, like I spoke to through the examples of blinking and breath. And yeah, in order to experience the breadth of now, like I was saying. Okay, fifth card and final card, I told you I'm trying to keep this short and sweet, is the box. Okay, so as I have been threading this read all together, the box landing in the fifth position of the self, this card is articulating the notion that any and all of our experience lies within the container of the self. So 5 senses through the expression of man. If you look at Leo 5, the 5th sign, Leo is the creative expression of man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here we are to go and walk on. We are now in our process of, like I said, expression of the creative source. And pardon me, my brain train, the lines then define us. So if we can look at the internal, external world, the structure in which our pattern of expression and design can actually happen, the box is symbolizing order and coherence, and yet we also need to break through the box. We need to push the envelope, see bigger, see outside the box, right? Yet the box, our ego, Leo, our presence through all of this portal stuff is how we can navigate. The wisdom of the body, oh my gosh, you already know. The wisdom of the body is leading the show. And if we can start to tune into our character, tune into our virtues and values, our intelligence, a lot of these themes all tie together, from numerology to astrology to literal narrative of a box. We talk about a single line. And if you're walking that line, that edge of known and unknown, that's where we can discover if we can recognize where the lines blur, where we can move past our container and grow. So if we don't take this box and put it in a different container, a different environment, it's gonna be the same old box. We're gonna just like rub against the walls and be like, oh, there's a box. But if we finally bring that box to, I don't know, a ball pit comes to mind. I want to play, apparently. So if we bring this box to a nice playful area like a playground or a ball pit, all of a sudden this box is not necessarily null, but like we can leave our things in this box, our ideas, preconceived conceptions of reality, and then go, well, I can actually get out of this box, and I want to get out of this box. So then we get out of this box, we break through. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit sucked into the vortex of the box because like trying to define the container when we are the container defining it is a funny conversation. So in the notion of what I've written down here, in the sense of the self, this box can feel suffocating, right? Yet man can see the world through the internal and external base. It can feel like there's a whole lot of restriction, rules. The box always also signified the norm. So all of this defined stuff, reality, all of this definition. From there we can play. We can go, okay, well, here are where the confinements are. Here's what I know. Here's what I also don't know. So when we can meet our edge, for example, in physical practice as well, to know that, okay, I can do like one pull up, I'm pretty good there. Done one pull up, did another one pull up. What if I can do two? That thought right there, your body's already experiencing it. That wisdom is coming through, that it sparks that thought, and then maybe you try it. 2 pull-ups, what? I didn't know I could do 2 pull-ups. What else do I not know? Oh, I didn't know that my hamstring was feeling that way until, I didn't know that I was off balance and uneven in my weight distribution until I got sciatica. So the box itself can show us where the room for improvement is. And the journey then continues as we cycle our energy, as we learn to harness our life force itself. We can further endeavor upon the journey to experience what is our truest gift. Pardon me. Moving through all of the nuances to be able to rise further from our home, from our bones. This journey is calling us to know that there is purpose in every twist of fate. Overarching theme today is purpose, the collective read. I'm just trying to talk about how we are human beings, and in this experience of discovering our cosmic self. And to do so, we kind of need context. We kind of need to feel that we're not alone. We kind of need to take care of our bodies. So I managed to do this within half an hour. Will I even post this? Most likely. Probably just on my Substack. I have a YouTube channel started too. Like I said, it's called the IC channel. Getting more into talking about these things and landing my awareness in conversation with you guys. I prefer dialogue, so if you're ever interested, if any of y'all want to talk and shoot the shit, I'm all ears. And until then, you guys, take the best of care. I love you all. So much peace from my heart to yours. Until next time, ciao for now.